Okay, hey, how are you?
Bedridden in fucking snow.
What happened? You got that sick? And
No, I'm not sick. Just
oh,
nowhere to.
you can explore the perimeters of your house. And
Yeah, pretty tight.
okay, yes, I finally got my live back, obviously. So here we are. And I guess we'll just go through our usual news stories. Sorry for the horribleness. I am trying to use my iPad and for some odd reason, I cannot get lengthy away from it. So, I guess I'll go with this, or I will probably change my hat at some point. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I guess let's start with the BAFTAs of all stories. So, I mean, we'll start with the good. Ryan Coogler being the first African American to win Best Original Screenplay ever at the BAFTAs. We got Uni Masako, Best Supporting Actress, which was a surprise, beating out Tiana Taylor. We also have Sean Penn winning Best Supporting Actor, but I think we all kind of expected that one. And then, unfortunately, while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting an award, um, the person John Davidson, who the best actor Robert Aramayo played in a film called I Swear, ironically, who suffers from Tourette's, started hurling the N word at Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. Now, of course, he does have Tourette's, and that is what the show and the producers are trying to say. Whereas the reason, because he did heckle people throughout, the show, but a lot of people aren't buying it because while they were sitting there, the host Alan Cumming asking the crowd to, have some sympathy and please bear with us while we go through this. They can later bleep out Free Palestine from somebody's speech, but they couldn't bleep out the N word at all, nor did they afterwards come and apologize personally to Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo, the producers, nor the man who suffers Tourette's. So a lot of people are asking, well, what? Okay, if he can hurl Tourette's, he can't apologize. And so, Andre, I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but what are you feeling about this? Is it just an excuse? Is the guy racist? Or do you think this was just really a case of that?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate the cast and crew of Sinners for their wins at the BAFTA, especially for Ryan Coogler being the first African American to win the Best Screenplay award. And listen, if he wins Best Director, it's well deserved. It's a good movie. Definitely one of the best of last year, and he should be rewarded for that. Even screenplay award is just as good, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as this particular situation, I did see the footage,
Okay.
and I'm not surprised that there's that underlying racism with something like the BAFTAs, but yeah, this was a pretty big embarrassment overall that they could not have had even a 5-second delay to avoid that particular word being used on a live broadcast. That is personally insulting. And what strikes me as odd too is I don't know this actor. I will probably go with the benefit of the doubt that yes, he has Tourette's. Yes, it's a serious issue. Alan Cumming made that statement. Please be forgiving of the condition. However,
Mm-hmm.
here's Cumming trying to apologize on this actor's behalf. I haven't heard this guy apologize or put out a statement. And that to me is something we're already 24 hours removed from this, or actually a little bit more than that. And we haven't heard anything from that particular guy. And that raises questions right now. Maybe there will be some spin, but Alan
Mm-hmm.
Cummings on his behalf isn't enough to quell any of this tension. And even if he were to apologize at this late stage, I don't think it would make a difference. Clearly, the BAFTA screwed up big time on this.
Yes, and I guess if I was Michael B. Jordan or Delroy Lindo, it would make me not necessarily want to come back.
And I will also add, kudos to them for keeping their composure because I could see there was that little bit of seediness for a moment, but they were professionals enough to keep the show going. There was no like, I'm going to get up on stage and do a slap like Will Smith. So kudos to them for actually holding it together at that difficult moment.
Agreed. And thank you to those people who are viewing. And again, feel free to ask us any questions if you want to. We will see the comments. Um, our next, our next thing is kind of a complicated subject. Warner Brothers and Paramount Pictures are still going at it. Paramount really wants to buy Warner Brothers, even though at first it seemed like they were ready to accept Netflix's offer. Then, of course, the politicians got involved, trying to say that Netflix puts out the wokest material out there. And now David Ellison wants to up the ante by offering, what is it, 650 million a quarter for uh, Warner Brothers. And the thing is, I know we shouldn't care because I mean, either way, it's not a good thing because Ted Sarandos still says he's going to keep the 45-day window open. I don't know how much we can trust him on that, but at least he's not threatening democracy as much as the Ellisons, who are friendly with the president of the United States, who is even calling into question the deal. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with you. So why are you even poking your nose? Well, we all know why, but still. And then you have now even James Cameron saying, oh, Paramount should get it because if Warner Brothers, I mean, if Netflix gets it, it's horrible because, you know, they're a streamer. And I'm like, hey, you are also the guy who thought making 3 Avatar movies was a good idea. Actually, 6. But we only got up to 3 before people were like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of getting over it. And I know we talked about this last month, but is there anything really new to this discussion that you'd like to put in? Mm.
There's not much. I think this is pretty much the media overblowing this particular situation. My understanding, because I look at Jeff Snyder's scoops, and not that he's also the most reliable scooper out there, but he did kind of make the point that, listen, this is kind of a regulatory thing. If a bidder is going to raise their bid for a company like this, it has to be reported. So naturally, you're going to get these media outlets, the trades, going out and saying, oh, they've made a new offer, they might be open to it, doesn't necessarily mean that Warner Brothers is going to accept that deal right off the bat. They still have to go through a voting process. And it's my understanding that the board is already pretty set on the Netflix offer. Netflix kind of raised their cash a bit the last time
Yep.
after we tried, I guess, had the deal. And on top of that, you have a number of employees at Warner's who do not want them to go to Paramount. And that could be pretty bad because then they would lose their jobs, get replaced by some lackeys, and that could make things a lot worse if the Ellisons get their hands on it. Either way, there's really no winning scenario because you go to Netflix, likely the window is going to get smaller for theatrical release and probably make it harder for theaters to survive. If it goes to Paramount, yeah, you might have the theater survive, but it'll be at the expense of executives who will want their movies not be middle of the road, but appease a certain segment of the public. And that's something I don't think we really want to go for. And no, I don't think everything that Warner Brothers does is quote unquote woke. There's, some middle of the road movies that don't really fall into a political trap. Just because you greenlit Barbie and one battle after another doesn't mean everything's going to be politicized. So it's pretty much a wait and see. Anything could happen in the next month. But if I have to put some money on it, I don't think the Paramount thing's going to go through, even if there's threats in government to try to shut this down. Netflix would have to drop the ball a lot with their stock and other business matters to lose out on this.
Mm. Um, well, it just also makes you wonder if this isn't politicized, why are they trying so hard to buy this one studio? It's not like Paramount's not making money in, on its own. So it's
It's
obvious.
about
It
control
yeah.
the airwaves, and it's they already you see it with CBS. They own that, and how that's pretty much kissing the ring of the current administration. So why not get Warner's, get CNN? Now you get two things that control the media airwaves. But there's an obsession with it. But I feel like this is their last shot because I don't think they're going to come up with anything better than this offer.
That's true. I mean, let's face it. Everything wants to be a conglomerate now, and unfortunately, that's the way things seem to be going with deregulation. So, but obviously, by next month, I guess maybe by then we'll have more news, or they will finally have made a decision. Moving on, K-pop Demon Hunters and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein will be in this year's Criterion Collection, and I can see why K-pop Demon Hunters, because it's probably most likely going to win the Best Animated Film Oscar this year. But I mean, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, a movie I liked, but I don't think, at least not right now, like out the gate, should it be on Criterion. But considering it did kind of premiere on Netflix, it's nice that it will. This is the only way it seems like it'll have a physical DVD release. Really.
I don't have a problem with either movie in the Criterion Collection. I only have like a small rant to make, which is somebody like us in the public who may not have big money and big agents, why is it that if we want to go and visit the Criterion Closet, you only have 5 minutes to do it? Why not just make a bunch of closets in different cities and you just go in whenever you want, rent it out for like, I don't know, 25 minutes to a half hour. You pay a fee and you could be ordered to buy one of the movies if you have to. We should just be able to film ourselves in the closet.
Okay. I mean, I think the whole thing is exclusivity. So that, I mean, look at how long people are willing to stand online just for that 5 minutes. I just want to know, when you have your 5 minutes, is it like supermarket sweep? You know, like, oh, I want this. Or do you have to like purchase these? And
Yeah, but why not have it where you have people in the public go into the closet, you have a camera, you could talk about your favorite film in there. You're saving physical media, especially for their business. I think that would be a good thing and a win-win for the industry if they really tried.
well, don't forget, you can also always just go to your Barnes and Nobles, go to their Criterion section, have somebody film you or film yourself, and then talk about your favorite movie. And even better,
And
Barnes and
get what?
Nobles,
Security by Barnes and Noble security thinking you're going to shoplift the place?
not if, why would you shoplift if you have a camera crew and you're talking to the camera? You're already making a spectacle of yourself. Unless this is now, you see me now, you don't. I don't think you're going to be like, yeah, talking to the camera, like, aha, where'd that deep cover DVD go? You
Look
know?
at this side adventure when Gene Hackman had a lot of hair.
I mean, is that on Criterion? And,
I wouldn't be surprised.
well, I
There's
mean,
got to be somewhere online for every Criterion release.
my thing is, I just say go to your Barnes and Noble. Hello, if Barnes and Nobles is a bookstore. They need the advertisement, so just do your own Criterion there, and then You don't have to buy some, but if you are taking up their space and time, maybe just buy one. You could talk about five of them, but just buy one. Because
And
my
don't forget,
thing,
our mom and pop stores in Manhattan, in California, I think Amoeba Records is still open. I think.
yeah,
Do
Amoeba
it
Records,
there. What
or
criteria that you don't want us to film?
go to Vidiots, and or if you can find an Alamo that actually sells DVDs, go there.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anymore.
Well, see if they would have kept Sunshine Cinema down in the village, they were selling them. And but anyway, okay, since you had a little rant, I'd like to have a little rant. Glenn Powell's How to Make a Killing bombed, and this is his second this is more of a modest budget, but his second film that really tanked at the box office, and they're putting it squarely on his shoulders. And I don't really think that's fair. And because he's been what's supposed to be the next thing for a few years, but it seems like more of the studios are the one pushing him into this stardom direction. And really, unless you are really a big film fan or television fan, you only know him as the guy who basically played Val Kilmer's updated role in Top Gun Maverick. And then you want him to star in all these movies. Like Hitman, at least he co-wrote it and he starred in it. So it's that, and it's more of an indie film that was on streaming. But now you're giving him Running Man, this big budget movie, and you expect people to be like, "Oh, I know him," and it's like, wait, isn't that the dude who played the dick in, you know, Top Gun Maverick? And then they're like, "Oh, it bombed. Blame Powell." And now this movie, which was just a basic remake of Kind Hearts and Coronets, a British movie with Alec Guinness, where Alec Guinness played multiple roles, and this time it's just Glenn Powell playing one role, a satire of Eat the Rich that we've seen before that's hardly promoted, and then they're like, "Oh, this is all your fault again." Mm. Now it's making more sense why he did that stupid Hulu series, because at least it was something different and something he seemed like he wanted to do. No matter, and got his face out there more so people would know him. Because unless you're watching Ryan Murphy stuff, you don't know who the hell he is. And yes, and I agree, Adrian. Thank you. They blew him up way too much and way too early. And
I agree. I mean, I feel that he fell into the trap that Taylor Kitsch and Channing Tatum fell into. Once they had that one hit film, suddenly the studios want to say, let's put him as the lead guy in all these big IPs and all these vehicles designed to make him the next hot thing. You're even seeing a little bit of that with Michael B. Jordan, even though he has the connect with Ryan Coogler, because outside of Sinners, everything's been like an IP or a remake with him involved. Now, what got Tatum and Kitsch out of that was working with established directors who were able to give them more grittier performances to work with. So, or to play outside the box. Nobody knew Channing Tatum could do comedy until 21 Jump Street.
that saved his
And,
career. And
right. And Taylor Kitsch, who was doing Battleship, and they thought he would be the next Gambit for X-Men. What did he do? He did that Oliver Stone movie that nobody saw. At least that showed he had some acting
oh
range, and
yeah.
he did True Detective. He basically just became a character actor. He's not a leading guy, but pretty good. Like that Waco series where he played David Koresh, he was very good in that. So I think Glenn Powell has that kind of like, you know, I don't want to say good old boy, but he's a guy. Even in the Running Man, he has to have a likability factor where he has to be charming and humorous in a very deadly situation. We need to see him be, you know, not even like what he did in Hitman, where he showed, okay, I got comedic chops. Show that you're a real actor. Like you could just strip the good looks down and the Buffy look and all that and be like a real character and have an edge to yourself that be like, holy shit, I didn't know he was capable of that. And I think maybe he would win some critics over a little more than just being pushed out as, oh, just another pretty boy like Ben Affleck in the early
I
2000s,
was
you
gonna
know?
say Ben Affleck. Well, see, that brings up a good question because you say Taylor Kitsch. But my thing, other than the television series Friday Night Lights, what big like movie role or hit movie did Taylor Kitsch ever had? And they were still offering him all these big movie roles. And okay, I guess we will have to wait for Andre to return. It's, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. But no, but like I was saying, you know, Taylor Kitsch was a part of an ensemble on a television show, but I'm like, what hit movie did he have? Uh, Adrian, that gladiator type movie you're talking about, John Carter of Mars, but it wasn't a hit. It was a notorious bomb. So like Taylor Kitsch really never had a hit movie career. Like you said, that movie Savages was kind of a hit, but it wasn't a hit because of him. It was more like Oliver Stone's making a pulpy type movie, and he's bringing Salma Hayek and Blake Lively and what's his name, Aaron Taylor,
Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
yeah, with him. So it's
John
like
Travolta in it.
I totally forgot he was in that movie. That shows you how much of an dent he made in that. But also I wouldn't mind seeing Oliver Stone go back to that type of filmmaking for the time being, instead of I guess trying to make event movies that I don't know. I guess he can't get funding for. But that does lead into a story we'll talk about later. So let's try and get through the rest of these. Can you? Okay, Mike Flanagan, great director. Stop with the Stephen King adaptations. We already have the Carrie series that he's making coming out, and now he's going to remake The Mist. And I don't know, maybe because The Mist is still fresh in my mind, so it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. It might have been that long ago. Does it really need to be remade or rebooted already?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he's become like the go-to guy to restart every Stephen King adaptation. There's a few films that I think should get remade, like Christine and a few others that weren't particularly all that great that are worthwhile to
Oh,
do.
hold up, Christine. I feel like it's still stand the test of time.
I love John Carpenter, but even he admits the movie wasn't scary enough. Um, but yeah, I think that he could do it. I mean, but the problem is, what's the twist that you're going to do? Because I don't know if you could top that twist ending of the original. And you know you're going to throw in Bruce Greenwood and Carla Gugino in parts. So what's the surprise? I mean, come on, Mike. You got other things to do.
You'll get Henry Thomas in the lead. That'll be the
Yeah,
thing.
Henry Thomas will be there. Maybe he'll play like the old man with the old wife.
He's not that old.
Hey, you never know. They made him look like Jack in Doctor Sleep.
Hey, throw in Zach Galligan, and maybe you'll have, your movie. You'll have your horror version of a Tarantino movie. And next, I mean, this isn't a big story, but you have the studios making Evil Dead Wrath, which begins shooting soon, and they just finished Evil Dead Burn, which is coming out in July. And I feel like this is the same problem they had with the 28 Days Later film. They are putting them too close together before even seeing if the first one makes money to have another one. Because, okay, 28 Days Later came out, I believe, in September of last year. And then I don't think it really started hitting streaming until January of this year when they decided to release 28 days later The Bone Temple. So you didn't even get an audience for 28 years, sorry, yet. And you're already releasing the sequel. So, and you already had middling to awesome reviews of 28 years later. So I feel like you're kind of tanking your own franchise before. I know everybody wants everything like one after another, but you got to let it breathe, for it to make a movie. Because now that the Bone Temple didn't make that much money, the third that they were supposed to make in the trilogy is probably in doubt. even with finally bringing the story back to Cillian Murphy, and that's the problem. Hey, Billy Boom, thank you for watching. Is that you know, now that you've got all my, we're finally getting to the part we all want to see. Now you're stopping after giving me this story of other characters. It's like, no, I need to know how this ends. I'll take graphic novel form. I prefer a movie though. And it's a shame because finally this year, Nia DaCosta released two movies I actually liked for once. And now it's like, all for naught. She's finally like up in her game after the Candyman remake, which I'm like, eh. And then the
Uh,
Marvels, which I don't totally blame her for. So,
yeah, no problem.
hey, Billy Boom. And so she said, "Hey guys." I don't know if you can see.
I
Oh, okay. On to our next story. Well, that's mine. Do you have anything to say about this putting all these movies so closely together before we even know if this one's going to be a hit? And,
Oh well, you're 100% right. I feel that first of all, I haven't seen any of the Evil Dead remakes and reboots. Only the ones with Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi directing, and that's it for me. Is anything with Ash in it? That's what I go for. But
la
yeah,
di da.
pretty much. They get them made very fast, very quick. They pump them out, and you don't give the audience enough time to breathe, so you end up having low quality. And yeah, we don't know how this is going to get received just because the last one did decently in streaming. Because didn't they do the date release for the Evil Dead Rise or whatever one they did? But yeah, it's going to lose luster at some point.
uh, I mean, I like the last Evil Dead movie, but again, when Bruce Campbell isn't 100% involved, it just doesn't feel
Yeah.
right. Because it also loses that comedic tone. It just goes for this grating, just gore, and this stuff that keeps going on. Next, I'm not going to talk about Wuthering Heights only because I haven't seen it yet, but it seems to have stuck in Emerald Fennell's wheelhouse, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of racial microaggression. But I'll wait till I see the movie and we can talk about that then. But I'm putting that out there. Anyway, what's up with your boy Shia LaBeouf? The man likes his booze.
That
um,
kid's out of trouble. I don't know what's going on with him.
and it's the problem is it's like Lindsay Lohan. At least she's making a comeback. Is that they're actually talented, but the personal problems is messing up their careers. I personally think somebody should make like since everybody's canceled, make a dirty dozen of just canceled actors. Shia LaBeouf, James Franco, Vincent Gallo, Kevin Spacey. Is I can think of Mickey Rourke. All these guys have talent. Make a movie together so at least they can get one last good paycheck. You can even throw in Ansel Elgort, who I'm not a fan of his acting, but uh, yeah, I feel bad for him too because Shia LaBeouf had such potential, even outside of those bad Transformers movies. His Honey Boy movie, and then I don't know, everything
Peanut
just
Butter
went.
Falcon, very good in.
He was good in that. I even like, even though the movie's not great. Who was the gangster one?
Oh yeah, he was like a Latino gangbanger. I forget the
Well,
name, but
he was a white boy, Latino. Let's
White
just
Boy.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
let's just make it. He wasn't doing brown face. Even though supposedly he actually joined a gang, but again, that's rumor. And yes, Billy Boom, he is getting a divorce from Mia Goth because her star is rising, and his is staying stagnant. But I don't think that's why, because he was messing up before they were getting a divorce. But
I
maybe
almost
he's
have a strange
good.
theory, and this is just like totally way off base, but I feel like he was having that good run with the Transformers and Disturbia and the Wall Street sequel. Like he was that go-to guy for the IPs. But I remember when he did Eagle Eye, and when I saw that in the theater, there were people who basically were booing
Right?
when he and Michelle Monaghan didn't hook up at the end. So I almost feel like maybe something like that ate at him, and all of a sudden he's like, "I'm not anymore. I'm going to work with Lars von Trier and show my people. I'm going to go and do and have my broken. Oh, I'm going to do that Honey Boy movie so I could show I have an abusive household when I was growing up. Like all of a sudden he wants to be Sean Penn, but
Ooh.
you're not at that level. Like you're just disturbing. You're Sean Penn back during the Madonna era, and you never got out of it.
Yeah, you need to be more like Tom Hardy. You know,
Yeah,
like
at
be
least
your
Tom Hardy gets work. He could be a nice guy when he really wants to.
exactly be your weird self, but just be try to be as professional as you can, and maybe stay away from the paparazzi and stop doing things that seem like a cry for help. I agree with Adrian. A Star is Born in real life. Mia Gotham is ascending. Shia LaBeouf's going down. Maybe he needs to do a Bradley Cooper movie.
The only
So
thing
he
he's missing is showing him urinating himself.
I I feel like there was that, but nobody got the close up during the brawl in New Orleans, and it's a shame because I'm like, couldn't Mia Goth get him a role in Frankenstein? He could have been the new Deacon Frost, and if they ever made that Blade movie, and
I think him and Corey Feldman need to talk.
no, Corey Feldman's on his own musical journey. Shia LaBeouf, though Shia has rapped, so I'm like, why not? He's got the street cred at this point. Is
Oh no, David Faustino got the street cred.
no David Faustino's only street cred is producing. Whoop, there it is. Is
You Grandmaster B seriously?
I never took him seriously. Just like when Brian Austin Green tried to be a rapper. Even though I was about to credit him with "Nothing My Love Can't Do for You, Baby," but that's Joey Lawrence.
Uh,
Is anyway, or maybe he could be the next Robert Downey Jr. I think that ship has passed because
yeah.
who's gonna, other than Francis Ford Coppola, who's willing to take a risk on him? And oh, and David Mamet, and that's a whole other. He could direct the Dirty Dozen remake. David Mamet, he's kind of canceled.
Yeah, but everybody would just be talking. There wouldn't be any action.
He had action in Ronin. Oh well, he wrote it. He didn't direct it. Yeah, Spartan didn't have that much action either. He could be
No.
his new Val Kilmer. And
Nobody will ever be Val Kilmer.
Austin Butler's trying. But anyway, next story. But the Brian Austin Green reduction was fire. That might be a debate topic, Adrian. I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to the track. So, okay, next. They're rebooting Charlie's Angels, and the original cast is going to be involved in some way, shape, or form. On the plus side, hey, Cameron Diaz is making more movies. Is hopefully better than that Jamie Foxx one. And
I mean, it couldn't go any worse than the Kristen Stewart one, where they were trying to really hold back the sexiness because they thought, oh, the feminists are going to love this movie, and then they didn't show up to the theater. And supposedly they might bring back Demi Moore's character from the dead, from what I heard.
well, she's a hot commodity. We'll see what happens with I Love Boosters. Oh, it was Brian Austin's Green song was produced by the Far Side, so maybe it is actually quite good. But the a screenwriter of Crazy Rich Asians is writing the sequel, so maybe it'll be funny or more comedic this time, like how the original was. Maybe that was the problem with the Charlie's Angels remake, because then you have Elizabeth Banks with her character. Why can't I find a single man in LA? I'm like, Elizabeth Banks, is this your shtick and everything at this point?
Maybe you don't hire McGee to direct this one. Maybe you get Nicholas Winding Refn.
No, you let me get Joseph Kahn to direct this. Because
God.
that Joseph Kahn. Oh, I don't want to say his resume because it's horrible when it comes to feature films. I was gonna say, hey guys, remember Detention? Or remember that white boy rapping film produced by Eminem? Is or Torque? Uh,
Oh,
he's a good visualist.
he couldn't do
Hey,
a whole lot bad for Torque, especially that ending.
that is a future deep dive, my friend. But I feel like
Oh, I've
Adam,
seen it. I've written about it.
I'm like Adam Scott has already gone on the record with that film, so I'm just like, I don't think I think everybody knows it's notorious. So
He was the best thing.
that go ahead. Mm.
He was the best thing about Torque.
Hey, come on! You didn't like Ice Cube holding a tire iron? Say no! Come on, classic. Better than that War of the World stuff he was doing. That's
Oh, the best part when Fredro Starr dies in it.
the best part of most productions. So, and we're forced to believe they were brothers. I was like, definitely different
Yeah,
mothers or
no.
fathers, or one eating, one has a dietary problem. And not to mention, come on, it had Faison Love. Back another guy who could be he could be the black guy in the canceled in this Dirty Dozen movie. Either him or that guy who was in the Cheat, who keeps getting fired off of films.
I mean,
Jason.
he replaced Damon Wayans at Bulletproof 2. He could replace Jim Brown.
Yeah, I'd rather him to face. Well, I'm like, but Faison Love. I mean, depending on the weight issue, it's because if you watched him in New Edition, where he played Maurice Starr, he looked like in a regular chair. That looked like a kid's chair. It's,
I'm like, did he have an oxygen tank when he wasn't shooting? Because he was breathing pretty hard.
you try wearing that big ass suit and a wig on a hot ass set and see how you
Like,
are.
ugh.
Well, I mean, maybe Chris Tucker could be in this because he seems to be about to be canceled due to
Yeah,
where he
no.
is.
Listen, Bills him out with Rush Hour 4.
We'll see. I ain't heard nothing new about Rush Hour 4.
Or have
Melania
I.
Melania kind of bombed, so it's another bomb for his career. And then don't forget during the interview they had all those pictures that they asked him about. And he's like, "Oh no, that's the girl I was dating." Sure, okay, she looked kind of young, but anyway, we're not gonna go there. And um, now for Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho remake that at first he wasn't gonna make, but I guess he needs a hit now after that Julia Roberts movie bombed. A lot of he can't seem to find an A-list actor to take the leading role, supposedly because they're afraid of stepping in or trying to be there after, I guess, what's his name, Christian Bale's performance as Patrick Bateman. So I mean, I remember he was talking about Austin Butler at first, but I guess he decided against it. And I don't, and I feel like Timothy Chalamet's like, I'm too big at this point. And so who could he get? I don't. Andrew Garfield's not going to make that cut.
Well, not only is it a difficult thing to fulfill what Bale did, but what's the take that's going to make this so different from the 2000 version? Just readapting the book, unless there's stuff in the book that Mary Harron didn't get to do. I'd say, you know what? Don't even remake American Psycho. Remake Rest in Peace, James Vanderbeek. Remake Rules of Attraction. That got completely overshadowed, and that's in the same universe. You could universe build it. Maybe get Christian Bale for a cameo and de-age him.
Well, that was originally what was supposed to happen with the original Rules of Attraction. Not Christian Bale wasn't supposed to cameo, but somebody was supposed to play a voice only Patrick Bateman. But unfortunately, that never happened. Now, with the recent passing of James Vanderbeek, I say leave Rules of Attraction alone at least for another 10 years. And then
Like,
for this
like
next,
Awesome in the movie.
what? Oh, Shannon Sossaman. Mm, mm, mm. Uh, I just wish, she worked more. That's my only wish. But yeah. See, you got me. So
Adrian says I
um,
need a for that.
I just got to write my own version, I guess. um, what is okay? John Woo's just coming out with these weird projects.
Yeah,
He's going to make the mob bio film Gambino with Nicolas Cage. I, I please let Nicolas Cage bring back that bad toupee, big mustache, looking like he comes from Las Vegas from that movie Deadfall. Please do that, where he almost looks like that character Andy Kaufman played. I'm like, please.
I
I
am
don't.
weirdly interested in this movie because it's John Woo. So I'm like, is this going to be like a Better Tomorrow and The Killer? Are we going to have Carlo Gambino doing two-fisted gun action and doves flying behind him?
I hope so, because I hope he's not going for the dramatics. Because I'm like, no, Mister Wu, that's not you, sir. You know,
Off topic, I played a video game recently that happened to be essentially the Untouchables, but without the rights. So they created two playable characters that look like Kevin Costner and Eddie Garcia, and you basically have to fight every level against the Chicago mob until you go after Marlon Brando as the villain. I'm not kidding. This is a real arcade game from the 90s.
oh, bootlegs and licensing. Just to agree, Billy Boom, I love Cage. It's going to be good. If you say so. That's going to be my
Got the guy
comment.
that wrote Green Book writing it, so it should be good, I think.
No comment. And Adrian said he loved American Psycho, the book, and he's hoping this will be a better script. I know they're doing rewrites for American Psycho. So I take it it's going to be a different take, maybe more literal like the book instead of questioning like Mary Harron's version. Maybe they can. No, Leo's busy. I was going to say maybe they can get Leo back, who was originally supposed to be
Maybe they have to
in.
get it good.
Yeah, they're not going to. Um, rumor: Tom Cruise wants Chloe Zhao to direct Mission Impossible 9.
I call bullshit.
I hope so, because I'm like, what does he want more of a dramatic piece on this? Is
Paramount has that shit on ice. They lost so much money on the last two because of how expensive they got. Why would they suddenly go and say, "Oh yeah, let's give you another one, Tom, and spend another 300 million that you're going to lose on a franchise that needs a couple of years to get restarted again with a new cast?"
oh. Well, we'll see. Probably not. I'm hoping he just continues to do other things like Digger and other projects, and not go back to the well like, I need another hit. Don't be a Will Smith. And
That's where
um,
he's serious about Top Gun 3 and Days of Thunder 2. He
what
might
happened to?
even affirm 2. Who knows?
I want do a Les Grossman movie. It's there if you
Talking
want.
about that, it never happens. Maybe I don't know. All the right moves. 2027.
What is he, a football coach at this point? It's
Yeah, NFL. He's got whatever issues personal. Leah Thompson back, and she looks better than him.
no. It's, I was gonna say I'm all for cocktail too.
You know what? They could do Cocktail too.
Exactly. Bring kids back to drinking. Hey,
The son of Brian Brown comes back for revenge.
Brian Brown killed himself. That was on him. Hey, he should have known he married the type of woman he married in that movie.
He knocked up Kelly Lynch. He didn't know until after the movie.
So it becomes a father son bonding thing. So, like War of
Yes,
the Worlds before the aliens attacked.
and we go back.
Hey, why not? See, we're
Oh no,
always pitching.
Puerto Rico. You get Bad Bunny in it.
Bad Bunny's already starring in a film right now. So with Edward Norton and Viggo Mortensen and Javier
Bad
Bardem.
Bunny as the illegitimate son of Brian Brown.
He's too young. It's like
So
the
what?
illegitimate.
Older.
The illegitimate son would have to be in his 40s. But okay, next. Steven Soderbergh is frustrated that he spent 2.5 years of his life working on The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was canceled by Bob Iger for story reasons, even though Kathleen Kennedy wanted to push it through. And
I think the more you hear these stories, and listen, Kathleen Kennedy is much of a problem with Lucasfilm and what they ended up doing to devalue the Star Wars brand. But Bob Iger is just as responsible because here's a guy that bought the rights, had the George Lucas treatments. He could have not followed it to the letter, but he could have done something new and said, no, let's just go back to the well. Let's just reboot. We don't have a plan. Just make a movie and then we'll sell merchandise and do very well. And he pretty much damaged the brand. So, yeah, this is all on Iger. He makes Eisner look a lot more like a saint every day.
well, here's my thing. At least with a Steven Soderbergh, you have a good filmmaker who knows how to keep a budget down. And this would have probably been like one of his biggest budgets ever. So if I'm going to give somebody money, I'd have a lot more confidence in giving Steven Soderbergh money than, hey, Sean Levy, here you go.
Yeah, because Sean Levy is, I don't want to say he's not talented, he's just safe and he doesn't piss anybody off. Soderbergh could go, he could do the high budget, or he could do Presents and spend no money and make something compelling.
Exactly. And Adrian with Theo James, Henry Cavill. Well, they tried Henry Cavill for Mission Impossible. He was a villain.
Yeah,
Jonathan Bailey. I'm not seeing it yet. I don't see the acting
that hit
talent.
Bond.
He's in the running, but Jonathan Bailey is more. Well, he's in those Wicked movies, and I could only stand to watch one of them. So, Bad Bunny is not going to be in a Mission Impossible movie. Maybe as a henchman. you know,
Yeah, you know how Tom Cruise is. He wants to remain relevant, so he might just work with Bad Bunny in a movie if it's not Mission Impossible.
or he's going to steal that Bad Boys plot and be like, "You're my secret illegitimate son, who's a world class assassin, who I either have to take out or take in." And, and
That's
Theo
not,
James, he hasn't impressed me until he did that Guy Ritchie series on Netflix. But either way, speaking of which, unfortunately, I saw the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. That looks horrible.
oh yeah. We gotta talk about that Super Bowl trailer for a second. Because well, no, trailer it was just a commercial for Bud Light.
Teaser,
Yeah.
if you want, or product throwing. And
I mean, yes, if you're a kid and you like The Mandalorian, I could see you going to the theater with your parents, having a good time. It's cute, it looks fun. But as a longtime Star Wars fan, what's the story? What's the plot? What makes me look at this and say this is worthwhile to pay hard-earned money to go to a theater and pay money to see this movie when the entire trailer looks like a glorified Disney Plus special?
Yoda, I guess, is the
Yeah,
main
but
thing.
that trend is already phasing out. Nobody, not that anybody doesn't care. There are people obsessed with Baby Yoda, Grogu, but it's like how long ago? You're not giving us anything else. It's
2 years.
basically like where Star Trek is right now. You're appeasing the hardcore Star Wars fan base. But when it comes to casual audience, they've checked out.
I agree. I agree. Um, The Bride, and budget has gone up to over $100 million. I didn't know that it was pitched to streaming for 65 million, and they weren't willing to pay. And then, for some odd reason, a studio said yes to an $80 million budget. But then, when she turned in her first cut, because she's only made a $5 million movie before, they didn't like it and they didn't understand it, so they gave her money for reshoots. And then, word on the street is it's still not comprehensible, but they're going to release it anyway. And, and
All I say is they could have saved money if they got Sting.
look, either way, I'm there maybe opening weekend because I'm like, it's not for Maggie Gyllenhaal. I love Jessie Buckley. the trailer's growing on me. I hated the new trailer at first. It appears to have musical numbers. The only complaint I have, Christian Bale's makeup looks fake. He looks like he more looks like a bad version of Tom Noonan from the Monster Squad
Mm.
than a plausible Frankenstein, if that makes any sense. And I mean, it's got Jake Gyllenhaal. You know I'm there. Well, apparently has a musical. He sings a song over the end credits. I'm there. That sounds like a movie for me. I mean, especially if you start singing Roadhouse. Hey, he's got a sequel coming.
Yeah, he does a cover of "She's Like the Wind" by Patrick Swayze.
Now you should do a Sting song, just to rub that salt in that wound, Sting. It's,
Don't so close to me,
hey, it could be.
Roxanne.
Oh, I would love that.
That would tear down the house.
Exactly. I'd be like, now that's some shit. Pardon my language. I am on Instagram. Um, let's see. AI. Okay. Roger Avery said he couldn't get a film made or get funding. Well, when it was live action, and now he has three projects in AI that are pretty much almost done. One's a Christmas movie, one's a faith-based Easter film, and the third is okay. I can't read. Oh, it's a kind of a war movie. Mm.
Mm.
And this also goes with Darren Aronofsky, whose recent movie Caught Stealing did not make as much money, but now he has this whole AI series of history called 1776. And these are like directors you wouldn't think would have to resort to AI, at least not Darren Aronofsky. I can see maybe Roger Avery more, because he's more known as a screenwriter, and he was already writing scripts for more animated films than anything. But um, how are you feeling about this?
Mixed because yeah, I've experimented with AI on a few things recently, and I feel like it's getting advanced every day to the point where those particular visions that I've not been able to quite get on screen can be made literally within seconds. Um, Even though there are still some limitations, but eventually those limitations are going to be broken barriers in a year, maybe even a few months, maybe even a few weeks. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, not everybody is getting around to it. It looks messy. It looks like fake at points. It looks like crap. And then that Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt came out. Now everybody's in an uproar because they're worried they're going to get replaced. But it is also getting to a point too where the technology is available to mocap people into an AI character, and so that way you don't need to have the full set. You just need the actor and their facial expressions and their voice, and you're good. Um, it's going to be one of those fights that will be ongoing for a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if a major studio decides to put out an entire movie in AI, and if they have rights to use dead actors through their estates, we're going to probably see that in another couple of years, maybe even sooner. So it's really going to be a matter of how does the audience respond to it once it's on a much larger scale than just us playing around with our phones. That's going to probably say a lot about where this technology is headed if it becomes a big tool that major filmmakers and studios implement into studio blockbusters, or is it just going to be a fad that eventually will just subside? But listen, with all the movies you have now that are CG heavy, like most Marvel films, this is not far off that guys like Aronofsky and Avery are really adapting to this thing because they feel like, why do we need to be spending millions of dollars and having to deal with the headaches of big crews, insurance, and big name stars when I could just regurgitate everything out of a computer?
Well, I'm against it, and
Oh
but
yeah,
Matt, but Matthew McConaughey is all for it. you know. Well, he's probably planning on going into politics anyway. Um, my next story is it goes with a Roger Avery story. Is that John Sayles says he would love to make films, but he's written two scripts that are ready for production, but he can't find financing anymore. Because one is about the 1968 Democratic National Convention, and the other one's a Western with Chris Cooper. And I'm like, as much as I love Chris Cooper as an actor, that could work after Chris Cooper won an Oscar, but Chris Cooper now is not going to get that film made, you know? And I don't even think if you added Ed Harris in there, you could definitely get it made, you know? Because unfortunately, this new Hollywood doesn't recognize, I guess you would say, classic or at least 1980s, even independent direct. Jim Jarmusch is having problems finding funding, and I have a list of directors here who can't find funding for their films, and we keep wondering why haven't they made a film? And that's the answer. Not only do you have John Sayles, you have Joe Dante, you have Carl Franklin, Charles Barnett, who's always had trouble finding funding, black filmmaker. Terry Zwigoff, who made Ghost World. John Waters, Mark Romanek, Frank Darabont, but he kind of dropped out anyway. Todd Souls, Spike Jones. I mean, Brian De Palma too, but at least he has a film coming out. Finally. John Carpenter, again, he's not really interested in filmmaking. He's more interested in video games and making music. Bennett Miller, who did Foxcatcher, and Kenneth Lonergan, who luckily has playwriting, behind him to make ends meet. But all these filmmakers can't really get funding for any of their projects anymore.
And the other problem too, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. The other issue you're having now, it kind of stems back, and I hate to get into politics here, but you look at the last election, you look at all the celebrity star power that came out to rally against the president we didn't vote for, and it didn't make any difference with particular demographics of voters because
Mm-hmm.
these guys getting older, they're not listening to them, and they're more inclined to listen to an influencer on TikTok with no agent, no manager, but a shit ton of followers. Same thing with like a Rogan or somebody with a big platform like a podcast. They will be listened to more so than a high end celebrity because they get looked at as elitist.
Well, I'm like, I wish our influence podcast. Hello, we're pitching all the time
Oh,
here, but we don't get that. Um, Steven Spielberg's Bullet reboot, starring Bradley Cooper, is not going to be made, and I'm just like, thank you. It's because it,
nothing that.
yeah, it looked like he was. I was like, is he gonna be Tim Burton, just remake all his favorite stuff that he saw growing up? And plus, Bradley Cooper, he's no Steve McQueen. So um, Mike Flanagan, who also, when he steps away from the Stephen King stuff, is remaking Exorcist. It's with Lawrence Fishburne, Diane Lane, Chewie Tilly Jofer, and Scarlett Johansson.
Just like Adrian said, why? You're not going to do anything new.
I'm sure it'll be a different take. There will be more African Americans in it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I saw the Legacy or whatever it was called, and what the selling point was Ellen Burstyn comes back and then she gets stabbed in the eye with the crucifix. What are you trying to tell me here? I mean, you know, the Linda Blair cameo at the end, spoiler for anybody that didn't see this movie, we've done this a million times. There's nothing to add, there's nothing new. And God knows how many Exorcist type movies we've had. I mean, fucking Russell Crowe's done two of them that aren't even relate to each other. Even with the WrestleMania tie-in. Nobody cares. And as talented as Mike Flanagan is, I don't know what he could do that's so different and exciting.
Well, maybe he's trying to play it safe so that when he wants to put out an original project, he has all these other ones behind him. And
Like Exorcist 2.5 and bring back James Earl Jones from the dead.
well, he did sell his voice, so and maybe his likeness, but it's sort of like Carrie Two and spoiler, Amy Irving's in it, but then she like gets killed
Oh
near
yeah,
the end.
and
It's
then all
like
the hype because the kid from Home Improvement gets shot in the balls with a bow and arrow.
that might actually happen in life with the life he's leading these days. So,
Yeah,
um, next,
I
deep.
wrap this up soon.
Uh,
Dad needs help shoveling, but yeah, go ahead.
okay. Um, let's see. So I'm trying to get good stories. The Dessa Azayan deep cuts casting, where they basically tried to whitewash a Hispanic and Jewish character. I guess because they believe they liked the tanner she wears and the wig she wears in life. So she turned down, well, supposedly, she turned down the role after getting cast, after all the backlash, and they finally went to, an actress who's actually Jewish and Mexican. But then you have people wondering why people get upset, and it's because so many times things that are described as African American or minority characters, you're willing just to write a white person or white actor or actress in with no explanation, or worse, brown face.
Hollywood hasn't changed as much as I want to say they have.
Exactly. And for all the things and infrastructures of what they once had, but then a certain president made sure they got rid of them, and now we don't have them. Um, James Wan and Lee Wannell are coming back to the Saw franchise.
Again, why? Why do we need another Saw? Didn't they
And
kill the old guy already? Like he had a different follower for each movie. Like, come on, what else are we doing here?
we can keep doing prequels. Even
Tobin
though
Bell alien? Like, what are we doing? Some guy's gonna plastic surgery his face?
I'd be like, well, no, they'll just de-age him with the Irishman technology. He'll
You
just
know what
move.
pissed me off the other day is reading that to find out why Benedict Cumberbatch was cast as Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, you had to read a novelization that explained he had plastic surgery to not look like Ricardo Montalban.
Or you can wait for somebody to
J.J.
read it for.
Abrams.
Well, you can wait for somebody to read it and then tell you. So, um, let's
Wait,
see. Fast and Furious is going to finally be made and released in 2028. Fast Forever.
I'll believe it when they say the cameras are rolling.
Parker Finn finally has his Possession remake with Callum Turner and Margaret Qualley. Well, considering Smile 2 is pretty much themed after Possession, I'm like, we really had to go the extra step and actually remake it. Is
Can we get the other girl from Smile 2? I want to see more of her in movies.
the one who played her best friend? Oh no, Naomi Scott. And
Yeah, more Naomi Scott, please.
well, Naomi Scott's working on a music career right now, so
She's
you have to
acting.
convince her. You have to convince her to. Meryl Streep is
Oh,
going to. Meryl Streep is going to play Joni Mitchell in a Cameron Crowe biofilm. And
the older Joni Mitchell?
well, obviously, unless well, you think she's that great an actress, like no, here I am, young Joni Mitchell at 20. It's
Yeah, well, I mean, not her, but Cameron Crowe, the mighty have fallen.
it's a music base. That's what most of his films are based on. This is better
Not
than
the movie.
that. This is better than what's it? Miss, what was the Penguin movie with Jim Carrey? It's,
No, he didn't write that. The Mr. Popper's Vengeance.
you sure he didn't? I know he did. We Need
No,
a Zoo. I'm like, hey, he was desperate. Jim Carrey with penguins. How could it bomb? It's,
they shot that near the zoo by my house.
and you didn't see Cameron Crowe. Is that how you know?
No, they closed off. But I couldn't even see Clark Gregg.
I could say something, but I'm being nice.
It's a
Uh, he's a
special.
good
Oh,
actor. He's married to Jennifer Grey.
no, they never did, unfortunately.
Fuck that guy. No, no. I'm sure they had a lovely marriage. Um, Nancy Meyers' $100 million rom com will be released in December of 2027 with Penelope Cruz, Karen Culkin, Jude Law, Owen Wilson, and Emma McKay. Oh, hold up. She dropped out.
This sounds like a cast nobody's going to pay money to see in the theater.
Well, see, that's where the funny thing is. That's where most of the budget is going is to get these stars. But this would be exciting 10 years ago. It's
I mean, she
it,
was old enough to have Jack Black and Kate Winslet have a romance in a movie.
well, see, that's the whole thing. I feel like it's she's trying to go for like that holiday type of vibe. Why she's bringing Jude Law, and Owen Wilson. Why Owen Wilson just keeps getting weird jobs out of nowhere. Like when they made that J Lo movie where she picks a dude out of the audience to marry, and it's like, so you guys picked Owen Wilson for her to be with? It's like we couldn't get his brother Luke. That made more sense. Uh,
Yeah, deserves a little more love. He's not getting enough of it because he has to wait until Kevin Costner finishes Horizon, if that ever happens.
but I mean, on the plus side, I'm happy Nancy Myers is finally making a movie since her last movie was The Intern. It's just like
Ugh.
Elaine May still trying to make her movie, but she needs a director for the insurance to, basically do
Warren
like Robert,
Beatty.
huh? Oh,
Warren
please.
Beatty.
So you're gonna go with one octogenarian to another one. Warren Beatty couldn't even read an envelope, so that's who you're gonna get. And James Toback has been canceled, so you can't even get him. And I'd be like, maybe, no, let me shut up. Anyway, we're almost done. A24 has bought the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so we're getting a more movies and a TV reboot. But the movies, at least the first one, will be directed by J.T. Molnar. Um, so at least that's a good thing. But again, they've been really trying to bring this franchise back. And after that last Netflix movie, I'm just like, really? Is there any more juice in here? And
Was this the 20th remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Why not reboot Texas 2 with Dennis Hopper and have the chainsaw fight again? Nobody seems to be bold enough to pull that off again.
well, I guess you'd have to use CGI or AI to bring Dennis Hopper back.
And John Larroquette's still alive. He could be used somewhere.
No. Then they'd ask for too much money. Hey, just be glad it's not
Really?
Rob. Yes. Hey, they want a little extra thousands on their check. And I mean, hey, be glad it's not a Rob Zombie remake. And I'd be like, why the rape again?
Oh, jeez.
It's like, hey, am I lying? Is there not basically a rape scene in any horror film he does that's not the monsters?
Production?
They all have it. I'm sure they probably had to stop him from putting a rape scene. He's like, wait, well, he could get raped, sexually assaulted, and Herman be her hero. Maybe Grandpa Southern and into the incest thing. So I'm like, so he'll obviously never be on the show. And our final story, we finally found the reason for the Safdie brothers breaking up or not making movies with each other. And it's worse than we could have even thought. Apparently, when they were making Good Time, Buddy Duress, who was one of their actors, had just gotten out of jail and unfortunately was still on heroin. And there was an underage girl who was cast to kind of play a prostitute, and she didn't even know she was going to be nude in the film. And Buddy asked her, hey, can I stick it in you? And obviously, she was disturbed by that. Yet they still filmed the scene. Luckily, he did not go over the line. But then they found out she was underage, so obviously they had to cut the scene and did the scene with a different actress. But then apparently, the producer still tried to date the underage actress even after, and really they basically stopped working together after that because they blamed the producer. But the thing was, neither one of them tried to stop this, and this is well maybe one of the problems with working with non-actors and not, kind of casting them yourself and finding out what the deal is, what the parameters are, where they're willing to go. And so I wish we could just be like, oh, it's all Josh Safdie, but Benny's just as guilty, even though Josh is more seems like the avant-garde experimental and Benny's more of the technical guy. But it's disturbing from both, and of course, people are trying to say, oh, this is just they're throwing this out there to hurt Marty Supreme's chances. I'm like, I think this is bigger than an Oscar campaign, and you know, mm,
Well, this is why you have missing coordinators on sets now to prevent this type of thing from going on and having those perimeters already set up without the directors having to be so, awkward or having to tiptoe around those type of intimate scenes. But yeah, it does not look well. I remember when we first talked about it off the show that it did seem like one brother was a little bit more innocent than the other, but now having heard the whole story from you, yeah, it doesn't look good either way. I mean, yes, I think the guy that did White Supreme has the more talent than the one who did the Smashing Machine, but put that aside, this might prevent them from getting other projects made, if it really gets that serious. But then again,
it's
look at where
Hollywood.
the industry, because of who's in office, that they could allow Brett Ratner to work again. It's a sad state of the times that we're in.
Good Time 2, starring Chris Tucker. And
Thankfully, they never did that 48 Hours remake. That would have been bullshit.
oh, that was with the comedian. I can't think of his name. And
I don't think they had anybody. They had a talk with Walter Hill, and he's like, "You guys are too talented. Go do something else." And that was before all the shit came out.
I agree. I'd be like, unless you just really want to make studio movies, why would you do that? And or like the guys who did the Bad Boy movies, you wanted to maybe break out from your country filmmaking into more American filmmaking, which you were emulating in your films back home anyway.
So they got
But
fucked over with that.
well, they made another film in their country in France, I believe, and it has the most explosions in a movie ever. So hey,
Right,
I'm
but
there. They never what?
they never get released here in the U.S.
There are ways of seeing them, and
Yeah, piracy. We don't promote here.
no, of course not. We never would promote that. What kind of people do you take us for? And
We don't have any
shut.
VPN sponsor.
I would love it. And in answer to that question, please no racism when asking what type of people we are. No John Davidsons, please. And but that brings us to the end of this live show. Thank you for everybody who watched, who commented, who you know asked questions. Not too many, but we appreciate you. We thank you. We're gonna live and is watching this late. We appreciate you being fans, you being curious. And again, please ask us questions, debate us, tell us your interests, tell us what you want us to talk about. We're always open to that. So,
Yes,
uh,
subscribe to the show, leave comments, support our sponsor, 80stees.com. We want to do this big this year, and we got some pretty interesting guests coming up, so you'll be excited with what we have in store for you in the remaining of 2026.
We do have one last question. Billy Boom asks, "Can you mention some hidden gems she can watch?" And
Yes, you go ahead first, Jeff.
I would say on Shutter you could check out Honey Bunch. It's a slow burn, but it's good. But me and Billy Boom kind of differ when it comes to taste. You could watch Send Help, which is still in theaters. I'm trying to think hidden gems last minute. Ones I'm trying to think of really fast, so we can end this.
Well, there's Present, which is a Steven Soderbergh film. It has
Yes,
Lucy
on
Liu.
our both on our top tens, and
Yeah, and it's not your typical ghost movie. Another film I could highly recommend, even though it's a little hard to find on a platform right now, a movie called Lurker. And it reads like a Fatal Attraction type of film, set within the context of a pop star bringing in this follower into his circle. It doesn't go exactly the way you think, but it's a really good film you should check out. So find Lurker if you can.
I haven't seen that one, so I do want to watch it though. Um, I'm trying to think. As I tell everybody, I saw the TV Glow. There's a hidden gem you can check out. Um, I mean, I would say one battle after another, but that's not really a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about that one. And
The House
uh,
Sitter was surprising, even for Sydney Sweeney standards.
oh, I did not see that. Um, if you want a stupid comedy, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates was surprisingly funny to me because you're thinking it's a juvenile, male-centered comedy, and it's more women being comedic in it. And um,
Oh, and I with Sydney Sweeney, but we'll save that for a future review episode.
oh, Sydney Sweeney, so controversial. Um, Yeah, that's all I can really think of right now. There are probably bigger and better hidden gems, but just last minute, it's like, oh damn, Oh, the one I recommended to you that I think is a sleeper. It's about the kid who writes plays. Oh man, and of course now I can't think of the title of it. But um, I will somehow in the comments of this write down the title of that
Yeah,
Griffin something. Griffin in Summer. That's the movie. Okay. So we have to go. So we will see you guys next time and with more episodes and next month with another live.